get my gun ready.
Don't do it with that hand out in front.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how none of them saw us. They took Tom to the right.
Did he land?
Yeah.
There's no way for me to get my gun.
So I would just wait until he gets right to the decoy.
Do you see him?
No, not anymore. He's just right behind this cluster of trees. But I can't see anything on my camera screen.
Too dark.
Yeah. See that Tom to the right?
Yeah.
I'll just wait till he gets to the decoy. I see that one on the left feeding this way. Its head's down. Just a him. Jake on top of the hill. To the left. And those Toms even see the decoy yet.
There's another Tom walking across the field to our left to us.
If we don't get more excited on that call, they're gonna get out of the way.
Turkey Hunt 101. Make sure you got a shell in. Oh gosh, my heart dropped. I thought they were coming in. They flew in, and I thought they were gonna go over the hill and set sail. This Jake came in. There's gobblers out there. I look over, he's coming in. I was gonna let him play around with the decoys for a little bit, and that Jake hitting that plastic, I think, spooked him a little bit. And so Zach was like, take him, take him. I pulled the trigger, click. And this ain't the Benelli click, it's a single shot. I forgot to put a shell in. And I was able to sneak one in. Luckily that Jake had him distracted. And
a TSS about what, 40 or 50 yards?
Through, if you could see my shot right here, I'm not even lying, I couldn't hardly see the turkey. I'm shooting through a limb. I was nervous, but
I was getting nervous as heck.
Heck yeah, man. Oh. Let's go see this bird. They were all roosted on this ridge line behind us on the across this river, and I don't know, they came down pretty daggum early. I thought we just got in. The moon was so bright, pretty much daylight. What time is it?
6:09.
6:09.
You probably shot at 6:04, 5,
yeah.
6.
So it was bright. I was worried they were going to see us getting set up, and we got in here and got the job done quick. Almost didn't. Put your shells in your gun, kids. Let's go out there and see this bird. So this one was definitely one for the memory book. I don't know if that's how you say that, but it's one I'm gonna remember for a long time. We showed up, and we had a time that we've been showing up and had plenty of time to get there, but this morning it was crystal clear.
No clouds.
No clouds, full moon. I'm surprised they didn't see us walking in. I ain't sure that some didn't.
I think some of them did.
But we got in, got set up. I hadn't been over here. I had a lot of fails on this hunt. I hadn't been over here to see exactly where they were roosting or flying down, but knowing history on this farm, I had an idea. And we jumped in there and got set up. As soon as we got to the tree line to set up, they started gobbling. And so we knew we had to be careful and hurry, because they were,
I'd say that closest time was less than 100 yards.
Yeah.
There was hens all around us we didn't know about until they started pitching down all around us.
So many hens, but there isn't no reason they didn't see us. I don't know. We got in, and they gobbled back and forth. I hit the call, and it wasn't, 2 minutes after I started hitting the call, these hens just started pitching in from every direction. And
we heard toms gobble. Like I said, we didn't know the hens were there, so I'd corner my eyes, I would be looking at the hens, seeing if they were beards hanging down. So I'd be like, oh, hen. And then there was a couple different times I heard a lot bigger flopping, and each time, one time I thought there was a tom landing in the decoys, it was a Jake, but the other times there was a tom to our right we never heard gobble, and two that pitched out to the left that they were just running around the hen the whole time.
Yeah, and it's tough at this place because it's so much open field, and you got to get it right off the bat. Otherwise, there really isn't. I mean, I guess you technically could reap, but wasn't set up, wasn't planning on doing that today. Just going to hopefully just try to get it right off roost. And but these birds, they typically fly down and then start grazing across the field until towards where they're going to hang out for the day. And I thought they were about to do that. The tom that hit to our right, he skirted around the hill from us, and then we had some hens, and the other two toms were kind of messing with some hens to our left. And
we had a hen right in the decoy the whole time, so I was sitting there on the camera, couldn't move my arms. Seth trying to get his gun so he couldn't have to call. So the toms are kind of easing off with these other hens. And we're just sitting there, can't call, can't move. So
Zach told me, he said, here, try to get excited and get that hen worked up. And sure enough, I hit it. She fired back. I got a little bit more excited. She fired back. Next thing you know, this Jake starts coming in. And I'm like, it's not what I want to come in. But sure enough, it wasn't. He hadn't even made it to the decoys yet. And I look over, and this old boy, he was coming in, kind of pushed that Jake off, and he started to get a little finicky because that Jake started spurring at the decoy, and I guess that plastic sound isn't very natural.
And he got to about, the first time he got to about 50 yards, and he kind of picked his head up, and I was like, oh no, this is not looking good. Then that Jake just kept going, and then that Tom, he's on around.
Yeah, he eased on in there, and Zach said he was on him.
I think I was filming through some trees, and it was off to my side, and so I was looking at that screen, but I think I had him on film, but we'll see.
But I cocked the gun, click, and if you've ever experienced that feeling, I've experienced it before with the old Benelli click before, and I about wanted to throw that gun into a sinkhole. Well, this one was strictly my fault. I forgot to put the shell in the gun. So I started to panic, and I hear Zach over there. He said, just ease and get it. I don't think he's going nowhere.
Like the whole time that this was happening, that Jake was just going crazy on that Jake decoy. So that Tom, I think he might have saw some movement, and then this Jake's going crazy, so he didn't want to get out of there, but he didn't like it, but I don't know.
I was able to ease my hand into my vest and finally get that shell out. And I think that Tom had enough of realizing, you know, this Jake is hitting plastic, and he didn't like it. So he started easing over the hill, and I'm trying to find him through some branches. And I finally saw his head for a split second. I knew he was cresting the hill, and I dropped the hammer on him, and he dropped. I can't say enough that old TSS round.
Was it 53 yards?
I stepped it out to 53 yards. Through some.
He was right on top of a hill. I heard him shoot, saw the bird go down, and I saw him flop maybe one time.
I'm a believer on it. I don't like spending a whole lot of money, but I will spend money on them from now on, because I want to get a good clean shot on them and a good kill on them. But couldn't be any more thankful for this bird. It honestly is probably one of the biggest birds I've ever killed. It's got some huge spurs on it, and it felt like it weighed 50 pounds walking across that field. Had a long walk back, but I don't know. We're going to get them back, get them cleaned up, and do some measurements on them, see if he is my biggest bird. But